Hold the line. It's getting crazy out there. Arizona is in the news with a ton of crazy issues. From Timcast, up to 40% of ballots not counted at polling locations in Maricopa County, Arizona. Nearly 24 polling locations have malfunctioning machines, and we're hearing now that upwards of 20% of polling locations are having issues. But this is not the end of the world. There is tons of really great news, and I have some posts here explaining to y'all how you should be handling this. They're basically saying that you should stay, just make sure your vote goes in, but I want to make sure I read you the legitimate verbatim instructions on what to do if you are dealing with these issues. Now, while these issues may be troublesome, I must stress, my friends, the red wave, it's apparently upon us. Right now, from Data Orbital, as of 10 a.m. in Maricopa County, 57% of total voters in Maricopa were Republicans. 14.4 are Democrat and 28.5 are independent. This is insane. It's looking like Republicans are doing really, really well in Arizona despite all of the problems. And I will stress this. The reason there may be problems may not be cheating. You can see cheating is already trending. Calm down, everybody. We got poll watchers everywhere. Tons of lawsuits have been filed. We will remain calm. I just want you to understand. The problem may not be cheating. It may be that too many Republicans are showing up to vote. The red wave is so massive that it's jamming up machines. So, considering this is a very important election day, I've got updated numbers for you on what to expect, the news about what's currently happening in Arizona and some thoughts on that, and a statement from several individuals about what you need to do not to worry. Your votes will be counted. And I will just stress, most importantly for all of you guys, y'all need poll watchers 24/7, not just sitting and watching the polls when they're tabulating. After it's done, 24/7, y'all need to be waiting and watching. Democrat, Republican, you see anything suspicious, you call it in. We want absolute confidence in this election. Even Joe Biden warned there will be deniers. We don't want none of that. We want people to watch and be like, okay, well, we will adjudicate any problems. We'll have lawsuits over these things, but we need to make sure that people feel satisfied that they had their voice heard. So, that being said, y'all should absolutely, the poll watchers should be watching the total buildings. Just watch the entire building 24/7 until it is finally done. Know who is going in, know who is going out. There should be footage of all of this stuff. And then we can say at the end of all of this, if the Democrats are freaking out, be like, look, here are the numbers. If the Republicans are freaking out, look, here are the numbers. We don't want a repeat of 2020. But let's get into the news, my friends. Before we get started, head over to losingmymind.com and support our work with our cultural endeavors. We released a new song called Genocide, Losing My Mind, that you can buy on iTunes or Amazon. We're currently #1 bestseller on Amazon. We've been there since Friday. Thank you so much for your support. We fell off from the #1 spot on iTunes. Y'all can support us by buying on iTunes. Support our work with this song. The song directly mocks the establishment media, calling them out for being shills, for being liars, for being manipulators, for supporting lockdowns and big pharma. This is the kind of song that I hope will hit the Billboard Hot 100, and then people in the industry are going to be like, what's this song about? Because the song overtly calls out the establishment. Losingmymind.com. If you would be so inclined to support us, listen to the song on Spotify, listen to the song on YouTube, and just crank it up and let it roll and just sit back, listen to that song all day and night because you're going to love it. You're going to you're going to love the video, share it with all of your friends, and just add it to your playlist and then hit that playlist and get it rolling. It really does help. Here's a story from timcast.com. Up to 40% of ballots not counted at polling locations in Maricopa. This is not the end of the world, okay? They say as of 9 a.m., 1 in 5 ballots were not successfully going through voting tabulators and were being set aside to be counted separately, according to Nicole Grigg, a local reporter for ABC 15. A technician said they were working on the issue, but also stated that as many as 2 in 5 ballots were not being counted. Per state election protocols, those ballots will be manually reviewed by a bipartisan team to ensure the votes on each individual ballot are properly filled. A rep from the Secretary of State's office told Timcast that roughly 20 voting centers in Phoenix are experiencing technical issues. Now, I believe there are some updates. Let me make sure I can get the proper numbers here. Where is it? Where are we at? Here we go. Ali Bradley tweeting. Chairman of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors says 20% of voting centers are having issues with tabulators. He says the ballot can still be dropped in the box. It will just get centrally tabulated tonight. He says they are working to fix the issue. This, I do not think, is the end of the world. Everybody calm down. Make sure you vote. They basically have a secure drop box. I actually like that better. I don't trust these digital proprietary voting machines. The code is controlled by a third-party company. We can't see it. You put your ballot, like if you put your ballot in that secure box, a Democrat and a Republican are going to sit there and stare as they pull it out and count that vote properly. So it's not the apocalypse, okay? I will say it is not the apocalypse. I got a couple things that I want to highlight. We've got Blake Masters. He is leading in some of the polls. In Arizona, he says, stay in line until your vote is counted. Hard to know if we're seeing incompetence or something worse. All we know right now is that the Democrats are hoping you will get discouraged and go home. Stay in line until your vote is counted. And then we have this from Harmeet Dillon, guidance for Maricopa County voters. There's two reasons I want to highlight this. The first, so y'all know what to do if you're in Maricopa. And secondly, for everyone else to know that conservatives, the anti-establishment types, many people, Republicans, they're on top of this. Just keep that in mind. Harmeet Dillon says, if you've checked in at a Maricopa County voting location where tabulators don't work, you should not leave and go to another location without casting a vote. Your provisional ballot at new location likely will not count. If you have already checked in at a Maricopa County voting location where the tabulators do not work, you can 1, wait for your ballot to be tabulated on site, or 2, ask to use the disabled voting machine, or 3, leave your ballot in a box to be counted later at HQ. If you have not checked in to vote in Maricopa County and you are informed the tabulating machines are not working there, you can go vote at another site in the county. Here's a list to find a place with a small line. So Harmeet Dillon on Twitter, PNJABAN. That's the Twitter handle. PNJABAN. I'm not sure what the word is supposed to be, but she has that in her tweets. You can check in the tweets and replies and find it. She goes on, and if you are leaving your ballot in the box to be tabulated later, we have trained Republican volunteers who will follow and track the transportation of these ballots and monitor their counting. This was pre-arranged given prior issues in Maricopa County. Do vote. Bravo to Harmeet Dillon and the Republican watchers. Bravo, because they planned for this. So I want to make sure nobody's freaking out. That there are top men taking care of this. Top men and women, of course. Harmeet Dillon with the latest information. We have this official report from 12news.com. Long lines and ballot counting problems for some. Election day, and this is in Arizona. So I just want to make sure y'all understand this is being tracked, all right? From Post Millennial. Maricopa County ballots so blotchy from the printer that scanner could not read them. Quote, I believe that is part of a problem of why people aren't having their ballots be read, is that you have bad equipment, faulty equipment. You have machines that need to be replaced, printers that need to be replaced. Here's what I think. I think that there's too many Republicans. I think that the red wave is so overwhelming, and we're seeing it in the data. You ready for this one? You ready for this one? Check this one out. This is from FreshTake.vote. The current turnout in Florida, 2.9 million Republicans to 2.1 million Democrats. The Republicans are leading in Florida by 729,000 votes. This is crazy. And here's where it gets crazier. Now, this is all just day of data. Who knows what's going to happen? But check this out. Miami County is currently, the Republicans are currently up by about 10,000 votes in Miami-Dade, a Democrat stronghold. Republicans are leading. Woo. By the time you watch this, those numbers may actually be a bit different. So Wish I could have done a live stream on this one, but I think we're gearing up for a long live stream tonight at Timcast IRL. So let me just stress again. Republicans are leading in the safe blue Democrat stronghold. Yo, this is projecting to be what's worse than apocalyptic? I say apocalyptic a lot. What's worse than that? What's worse than biblical? Man, I don't know. We have this tweet from Greg Price. With all the chaos that's happening in Arizona, he says, Katie Hobbs in charge of running the election in Arizona today while on the ballot for governor, and 20% of the voting machines in Maricopa, the state's largest county, are not working. I'm starting to think Kari Lake may have a point about the problems with our elections. He says, I remember in 2018 when the national press thought it was the biggest problem in the world that Brian Kemp was serving as Secretary of State while on the ballot for governor in Georgia. No such concern about Katie Hobbs, especially with the problems happening in Maricopa. And I will also point out when Raffensperger was in charge of the election in 2020, Trump loses. And everybody got really mad. Republicans got mad at him saying all of these problems were your fault. Now they're looking at Katie Hobbs saying all of these problems are your fault. So there you go. Now we'll see exactly how it plays out. But I like this op-ed. This one's funny. Only a fool would try to rig or steal Arizona's election now. I agree. You've got like Harmeet's talking about trained election watchers. You've got reports of just like ridiculous amounts. Do we have it right here? Ronna McDaniel. RNC attorneys have engaged in 78 lawsuits in 20 states to defend common sense laws. You've got there are tweets coming out about ridiculous amounts of poll watchers everywhere. So you know what? Let them try. Let them try. AZ Central reports. It was awesome to watch. All the early election day activity focused on making sure the vote stays honest. Maricopa county administrators and political leaders were giving instructions and reassurances to voters after minor irregularities began to surface, the kind that happened every election. On an internal chat channel at the Arizona Republic, reporters and editors were monitoring problems and sending out journalists to inspect the hotspots. Observers and lawyers from both parties were at vote centers as cameras live streamed activity. If anyone had designs on rigging the Arizona ballot, they were inviting a world of scrutiny. You'd be a fool to mess with this mass exercise in civic renewal. When it became clear that tabulators at 20% of voting locations in Maricopa were not functioning properly, social media began to stir. The national media began to train its eye on Arizona. Bill Gates, heck of a name, chairman of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors and county recorder Stephen Richer, quickly went up on video across social media explaining the breakdown. Yada, yada. You get the point. They confront the myths, blah, blah, blah. You get it. They say ballots can be cast by illegitimate or ghost voters. They say there are already safeguards preventing this. Registered voters must prove identity and residency. Early ballots have a barcode tying the ballot to a registered voter. I don't know if I want to agree with everything this guy is saying. My point is, I agree with the general premise. Y'all are watching. Okay, legal experts are watching. We're getting ready. It would be downright insane if they tried to play dirty on this one, but we will see. I want to stress that I think the real issue is the GOP voter turnout is so insane it's overwhelming their system. There are problems there. I just love this though for the Fresh Take Florida data. In Miami-Dade, they're up 10,000 votes, the Republicans. That's just crazy. Let's look at state turnout. Here we go. Let's see. Do we have? It's just by percentages here. Well, you got it up here at the top. Let's see if election results can net us anything interesting. Nah, whatever. Up top, you can see it looks like the GOP lead has just dropped a little bit, but it's still at 751,000 votes. The Republicans are leading by 751,000 votes. That is massive. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the latest forecast model from 538. Here we go. Take a look at this. If you've been watching my election tracking, my election coverage, then you know exactly why this is so downright insane. The other day, while I was showing off 538's forecast models, it showed Republicans winning 54 out of 100. It showed Republicans in the House winning 82. I wanted to explain that I hit refresh before recording, and it went to 55 to 80 and 83. And I said, I hit refresh before recording and it went up. I'm going to hit refresh right now. I did, and it went up again. Well, 538 has shuttered their forecast model updates. This is the final number. 538 is projecting in 100 simulated scenarios, Republicans win 59 times. And here's the deal, my friends. Democrats need only a 50-50 Senate because they have the tiebreaker with Kamala Harris. That means Republicans need to win at least 51 seats. They need a net gain. In majority of circumstances, they got it. Here's where it gets crazy. In 2 scenarios out of the 100, Republicans win 56. I say Democrats, Republicans need 51 seats. In 2 scenarios out of 100, Republicans get 56 seats. So that's a 1 in 50 chance. Let's hope we're in that bracket. 2 out of 100 result in 56 seats. 2 out of 100 result in 55. So you technically got a 1 in 25 chance they're going to get 55 or greater. I think it's looking really, really good. Now over in the House, this one's actually just really funny. They actually have a 1% chance Republicans get 260 seats in the House. Here's fingers crossed, man. Here's hoping. Let's carry forward, see where we're at. In the battle for the Senate, Real Clear Politics has adjusted their projection, dropping Republicans from 54 to 53. Now, this was their initially a few weeks ago. They said Republicans would end up with 53 seats in the Senate. But then New Hampshire flickered red for a little bit, and they thought it was going to go Republican. They've changed it back, and we're looking at 53 Republican seats in the Senate after this. We also have the governor's races. They did have for a while, I believe it was Oregon, as Republican. But now with the latest polls, they're projecting it's going to be 30 Republican states to 20 Democrat states. I want you to keep this in mind, though, my friends. The polls have been historically wrong. And there is a very strong possibility that what we end up seeing is a blowout to destroy all morale. Here's what I want you to do. By the time you're watching this, it's going to be late in the day. I hope you've gone out and voted. Bring your friends. Call everyone you can. Make sure everyone you know voted. Because if the Democrats are shown what the American people really think about their policies, it may shatter the cult. This is an opportunity. If the Democrats lose so resoundingly on the policies, they lack thereof, on the issues of January 6th and limitless abortion and sex changes for kids, it will force them to say either we drop these things or we never win again. I say, you know what, Democrats? I hope they don't learn their lesson. They'll just keep losing. And then at the very least, we're going to have moderate Republican, libertarian, MAGA, etc. versus establishment. And that's better than uniparty versus semi-uniparty. I'd love to see the two parties be the Republicans who then split, forming moderate America First Republicans and establishment neocon shills. Because then we will start the process of taking things back. There was a blood moon this morning, and I won't stop bringing it up. The next election blood moon won't be until 2349. Donald Trump was born on the day of a blood moon, and a blood moon happened yesterday. That one's interesting. I'll say that, huh? Donald Trump, of course, announcing he's going to be announcing on the 15th. He said it's a big announcement on the 15th. We will see. We will see. It's fool's gold. CNN commentator Van Jones slams Democrats for wasting time stoking fear over severe threats to democracy and not focusing on the economy. Yeah, he's right. And that's it. And I say, you know what? Let them do it. Let them scream about drag queens in schools. Look, some woman went out and she was like, I say a drag queen in every school. Not kidding. Google it. It's crazy. I'm pretty sure the American people aren't super concerned about that as an issue. And I mean this, look, they're not concerned about pushing it. But many parents are voting on these schools being weird and crazy, and they don't like what their kids are seeing. With that and the election of Glenn Youngkin, you would think Democrats would desperately try to distance themselves from this. But you know what? Elon Musk is trying to save them from themselves by enforcing the rules against these left insane people. It's actually going to help them. The way I often described it is, you see a woman, and she's holding the hands of two children. One child is clean cut and looks very nice and handsome with his hair to the side, wearing a little sweater vest. The other kid, covered in mud, messy hair with ice cream all over his face. And you look at the crazy looking kid and you're like, that kid's got problems. You look at the other kid and I'm like, well, he looks well adjusted. The only thing is, what you don't know is that the mother is very strict with the kid who's looking really nice and doesn't care at all about the kid who's acting a fool and covered in mud and ice cream. You see, the Democrats are allowed to say whatever they want on Twitter without being banned. So what happens is when they break the rules, they get a pass. This means that the leftist community on Twitter will continually push the most insane racist ideas and just woke insanity. And Twitter won't enforce rules against them. Thus, to average people, they look wild and crazy and covered in mud. The other kid looks all clean cut. Why? Because Twitter bans and purges anyone who even steps near the line. So many people have been falsely banned, like James O'Keefe, Project Veritas. They were banned under dubious pretenses. They have tried to make Republicans and the right, operate within this very narrow line. What they've done is they've gone to the one child, straightened their hair, put on the nice clothes, kept them clean, and forbid them from playing in mud. The other kid, they say, do whatever you want, kid. So Elon Musk taking over, him enforcing the rules, it's actually going to benefit the left. They just don't realize it. Here's what happens. Democrats, seeing the prominent conversations on Twitter, march in lockstep, espousing psychotic positions. A drag queen for every school, they scream. And regular people are just like, huh? How is that going to bring my gas prices down? It's not. It won't. But Democrats don't seem to learn. And Van Jones can scream into the wind all he wants. It ain't going to change anything. Joe Biden is a liar. And that's obvious to everybody. This may have a big impact here. Biden earns a bottomless Pinocchio rating from the Washington Post for series of debunked and misleading claims on gas prices, Social Security, and Xi Jinping. Even the Washington Post has had to come out and say the dude just won't stop lying. He won't stop lying, my friends. He won't. But you can always count on the celebrities to come out. Mark Ruffalo. Check out this video with fellow New Yorkers, Marissa Tomei, Julianne Moore, and John Leguizamo, and make a plan to vote tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Run, don't walk to vote for Governor Hochul. It's going to be close, and your vote counts. Amazing. The video really is amazing. I'll play it for you.
Happy fall, New Yorkers. It's that time for sweaters, Empire apples, and voting.
And as much as we love all things orange, we do not love Trump puppet and Republican candidate for governor, Lee Zeldin.
We need your help to keep our state blue by turning out and voting for Kathy Hochul. Right now, the polls are close, and she could lose if turnout for Democrats is low.
Pause. What's wrong with that? Tell me why you want Hochul to actually win.
That's why we're uniting New Yorkers like you for Governor Hochul.
She's the leader we need,
Why?
committed to protecting reproductive health, equality, the environment, and the economy. And she's upheld the most equitable marijuana legalization in the country.
And there it is. That's the only issue she's presented so far. But let's be fair and keep
those
watching.
who suffered the most under racist laws the ability to benefit.
Zeldin is a disaster, an extremist, a threat to our rights. He's anti-choice, wants to ban abortions. His idea of fighting crime is to harm everyone. He's on record saying he'll frack our beautiful state without a care in the world for our drinking water or our air, and he'll prevent New York State from leading the nation on progressive marijuana policy.
There it is again.
Did I also mention that he supported Trump's insurrection on January 6th?
New York, we cannot go backwards. We need a big blue wave to win. Vote
Win
this
what?
Tuesday, November 8th. The polls are
Marijuana?
open from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m.
And let's make this a family affair. Please bring 2 or 3 people you know to really turn out the vote.
Go to kathyhochul.com to find out where to vote.
So I'll just say this. They're all technically right. I respect it. Look, saying things like the leader we need, reproductive health. Okay, so we get it, abortion. But saying equality, environment, economy, they're not actually telling me anything. I don't know what that's all about. Then they go on and say marijuana reform. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I like that. But that's not really my biggest concern right now because I'm really worried about, like gas prices. And how about crime when people are being pushed in front of subway trains? Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of what's going on in New York. And that's why I left New York after living there for about 5 years. And I used to really love the city. It's crazy. I lived there for a long time. And I had to get out because of the crime. That's a fact. I lived on Myrtle and Nostrand. Look it up. I believe it was Tompkins, which is about 1 block over, where a black nationalist executed 2 cops. I look out my window. My whole street is blocked off. I decided to get out and move to the Jersey side. Then bombs were planted in the Jersey side and in New York. And I said, I just can't be here, man. This is crazy. There's no real benefit. With the internet, we can work for anywhere. I got to go. And they're still not solving the problem. But let me point out a few things. John Leguizamo. Let's go back and see what he had to say one more time.
He's a disaster, an extremist, a threat to our rights. He's anti-choice, wants to ban abortion.
He wants to ban abortions. Tell me exactly what that means. Because when I see Democrats, I see them outright defending laws that have limitless abortion. They make up excuses as to why they should be able to abort a baby at 9 months. I'm like, okay, bro, I understand that, there may be circumstances where the woman's health is at risk or something like that. But you can't explain to me why a baby could be viable. So it could survive outside the womb and then you choose to kill it with the machine and all that weird stuff. They've never explained that. They just say outright, we should be able to get abortions. And I'm like, okay, well, you're not being specific enough. He's pro-gun. Well, I like that. He says his idea of fighting crime is to arm everyone. Uh-huh. Okay, so that's a plus.
His idea of fighting crime is to arm everyone.
It so far.
He's on record saying he'll frack our beautiful state without a care in the world for our drinking water.
No, he's not. That's insane. Ain't no politicians coming out and being like, I'm going to frack and pollute all your drinking water. We had Mastriano on the show and he says, we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. We're going to have barriers to prevent any of the frack fluid from getting in the water. We don't want that to happen, but we need energy. We do. So what's their real pitch?
And it'll prevent New York State from leading the nation on progressive marijuana policy.
Okay, well, look, I don't know a whole lot about marijuana policy, but bro, you're saying he doesn't want the fracking to happen? That's actually an energy policy that'll get my gas costs down, my fuel costs down. So let me put it this way. They
also mentioned that he supported Trump's insurrection on January 6th.
I don't even know what that one matters.
New York, we cannot go backwards.
Agreed.
We need a big blue wave to win.
Agreed. You do need a big blue wave to win.
Vote this Tuesday, November 8th. The polls are open from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Yes. Let this message resonate to each and every person who opposes Democrats the exact same. You heard exactly what they said and what they believe in. And they're reminding you the polls are open from 6 to 9 p.m. So yes, listen to Marissa Tomei and go vote. Just vote against these lunatics and vote for Lee Zeldin. And then
polls are open from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m.
And let's make this a family affair. Please bring 2 or 3 people you know to really turn out the vote.
Go to Kathy Hochul.
So the Democrats are going to bring 2 or 3 people to go vote. Okay. Why don't you guys bring 4 or 5 people? Or 3 or 4? Let's say just get even to +1. Bring 4 people with you to go vote. When I was younger, my family brought me to go vote. They said, we were grabbing food and said, we're going to go vote after we eat. And then I was like, okay. And I was like, who should I vote for? And they're like, just vote Democrat, down ticket. That's what they told me. And so I did. I would never do that again. I expect that when you bring your family members to vote, you will tell them exactly why they're voting for the person they are. And it's not just going to be because Kathy Hochul is bad. It's going to be because Lee Zeldin is good. And you're going to explain positions that you think are good. Notably, gun rights is a huge one for me. How about that? How about crime? 2 big issues right away, right off the top of my head. You're in New York, you say, guys, if we vote for Zeldin, you're going to have a Democrat in New York City and a governor at the state level. And that means there's going to be some balance of power. You will get some pushback to the policies enacted by Democrats in the city and potentially help stop the crime. Elon Musk put it simply. He said there's a Democrat in the White House. We should have Republicans in Congress to balance power. It's a fair point. Donald Trump has made his point. Trump votes for Florida Governor DeSantis as he's seen with Melania for the first time since Ivana's funeral. Says he looks forward to his own Mar-a-Lago announcement next week. So Donald Trump, he called Ron DeSantis desanctimonious at a campaign rally, but then came out and said he was voting for him. Here's what I think. I think Trump is threatened by Ron DeSantis running for office. Trump wants to be president. DeSantis is widely popular. DeSantis probably will not be a VP. However, Trump also knows that DeSantis is up 15 points, and Trump calling him that probably won't have an impact. But he wants to set himself apart from him. I think it was a mistake. He shouldn't be ragging on DeSantis right now. He can rag on him after this. He should be coming out and being like, everybody please go vote for Ron DeSantis. So he came out, someone yelled, "Did you vote for DeSantis?" And he says, "Yes, I did." And now he's apparently got a big announcement. I'm really excited for that announcement. Look, there ain't no way I'm voting for Democrats. No way. I think Donald Trump's got a lot of problems. I think he said a lot of things talking about jailing journalists. I don't like that stuff at all. But this is a guy who wouldn't even call on the military to shut down the riots. I have no fear of him as some fascist authoritarian. That is insane. Anybody who's been paying attention knows exactly this. And I'll tell you, we had Owen Cook on the show last night. He said, the reason these lefties won't come on your show is because you're a scary person to debate. And I'm like, I don't debate people. I'll talk. And he's like, yeah, well, like he said, I'm an expert on some things. I'd be scared to debate the things I do know about. People who want to come on and lie about Donald Trump. You can come to me and say you think he's a potty mouth. I'll be like, yeah, that's true. You can come to me and say that he's talked about jailing journalists and he joked about body slamming one. I'm like, yeah, he did. I don't like those things either. Yeah, and then you're going to try and defend Joe Biden or Democrats? Bro, I will go all day and night about all the problems from Democrats. And then I'll tell you exactly why I think Donald Trump is good. I had a Republican recently tell me, conservative. They were like, I don't like him ponying up to North Korea. And I was like, what do you mean? It was fantastic. Listen, Donald Trump worked on peace. Perfect? No. I have these lefty channels, ragging on me. They're like, Tim thinks Trump is the greatest president of our lifetime. I'm like, name one better. I didn't say he was good. I said he was the best. There's a difference. A good president does a good job. The best president does better than all the other presidents. So you want to come at me and tell me what a better president than Trump? By all means, please do so. I ain't seeing it. Ladies and gentlemen, go vote. Next show's coming up at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimCastIRL. Or maybe we go live earlier. I think we might go live at 6 p.m. Just hang out. We got burgers. We'll be in another room. It'll be very, very informal. And we're just going to have this stream going all night until maybe midnight or later. It's going to be fun on a bun. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up then. Go to TimCastIRL. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all then.